2025 meeting of the City Plan Commission. Before we begin, I will outline the procedure that we will follow for our public hearing. As each agenda item is called, the applicant or their representative and people for the request will be allowed to speak. Then people against the request will be allowed to speak. If there is opposition to the request, the applicant will be allowed to make a short rebuttal. All people wishing to speak need to come to the front of the room and please state your name and address for the record. All statements made should be relevant to the agenda item and be limited to 3 minutes. There are several people in favor or opposed to a request. We encourage you to allow 1 or 2 people to act as a spokesperson for your group. While public discourse is very important to the commission, we have to maintain order in the meeting so that all people may be heard and the city business may be conducted. If so directed by me, the Sergeant at Arms shall remove from this meeting anybody that becomes unruly or prevents us from conducting an orderly meeting. Commission members have reviewed each of these items in a previous work session that was open to the public. The recommendations we make tonight will be based on the work session as well as any additional information presented here. After completing the hearing on each item, the commission will consider action on the item, and action taken tonight on all items excluding plats will be in the form of a recommendation to City Council. City Council will also conduct public hearings on these agenda items excluding the plats on Tuesday, November 18th, 2025 in the Bosky Theater of the Waco Convention Center at 100 Washington Avenue. First item on our agenda tonight is the approval of the minutes of our September 23rd, 2025 work session and business meeting. Are there any changes or additions? Okay, seeing none, they will stand approved as written. For our first item 9, zoning applications Z-25-40, what is city staff's recommendation?
Mr. Chair, members of the commission, the first request is a request from Mary Wise and John Calloway of Mission Waco, Mission World. The request is for the renewal of the special permit for Transitional Shelter 2 in C5 zoning district on property addressed as 1217 Mary Avenue, legally described as lots 10 and B11, block 7, Tinsley Addition. The property is located near the corner of Mary Avenue and 13th Street in downtown Waco, located in the Downtown Neighborhood Association in Council District 2. Corridor is dominated by a mix of commercial, light industrial, and legacy heavy industrial. Special permit was originally issued in 2014, and they have been renewing it since. This time we are recommending approval of the special permit subject to the special provisions and conditions and based on the following findings and conditions. Number 1, that the proposed use is consistent with the comprehensive plan for the purposes and intent of Chapter 28 zoning of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Waco. 2, that the proposed use is compatible with the appropriate and orderly development of the area in which it is located. 3, that the proposed use would not be more objectionable to neighboring properties because of traffic congestion, noise, fumes, vibrations, or any other characteristics than any use permitted in the zoning district without the grant of a special exception. Number 4, that available community facilities and services, including the road system providing access to the proposed use, are adequate for the proposed use. These are the findings for the granting of a special permit as per section 28-122 of the City of Waco zoning ordinance. Staff has provided special provisions and conditions. We would like to note that we are recommending, instead of a 3-year expiration, that they move to a 5-year expiration this time. 19 notices were mailed on October 18th, 2025, including official notice to the Neighborhood Association. 0 were returned at the time of report preparation.
Thank you. Is the applicant or their representative here to speak on behalf of this item?
Yes, if there's questions.
Thank you. Is there anyone here to speak in opposition to this item? Okay, hearing none, we'll close the public hearing and entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move to recommend approval with special provisions and conditions based on staff findings.
I second.
Okay, a motion by Mr. Embry, second by Ms. Gibbons. Please poll the commission.
Allen?
Yay.
Ellis?
Yes.
Embry?
Yes.
Gibbons?
Yes.
Weaver?
Yes.
Lazan?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Salome?
Yes.
Smith? Yes. Colt?
Yes. For item Z-25-41, what is city staff's recommendation?
Mr. Chair, members of the commission, this is a request by Jennifer Novelli, EAN Holdings LLC, on behalf of Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Request for special permit for auto, boat, recreational vehicles, sales, rental, parts, repair and storage, new and used, but not including wrecking yards. Specifically, their application, though, is for auto truck rental in an M2 light industrial district on property address is 3325 South Jack Colchin Expressway, described as lot 1A B12 Valley View Edition. The request is located along the southbound frontage road of the highway, roughly midway between Valley Mills and New Road intersections. It's also located within the Kendrick Neighborhood Association and Council District 2. The corridor has a mix of commercial and service industrial uses that transition to residential uses and zoning to the west of the subject property. Currently, this property is being utilized as a used car sales lot and is neighbored by a building material supplier and an auto body shop, thus reflecting the character of the area. Planning Services recommends approval of the special permit, subject to the findings that were read into the record on the previous application as required per section 28-122 of the City of Waco zoning ordinance. We also have provided the special provisions and conditions for this application, which are our standard conditions. 21 notices were mailed on October 18th, 2025, including the official notice to the Neighborhood Association, and 0 were returned at the time of report preparation.
Thank you. Is the applicant or their representative here to speak on behalf of this item?
Here. We'll answer any questions, but we did give updated rendering, a professional rendering to show what the property.
Thank you. Is anyone here to speak in position of this item? Okay, hearing none, we'll close the public hearing and entertain a motion.
We recommend approval with special provisions and conditions based on staff findings.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Smith, second by Mr. Ingram, please pull it.
Allen,
Yay.
Ellis,
Yes.
Embry,
Yes.
Givens,
Yes.
Ingram,
Yes.
Lozano,
Yes.
Rodriguez,
Yes.
Salome,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Cole,
Yes. Okay, for item Z-25-42, what is city staff's recommendation?
Mr. Chair, members of the commission, this application is filed by Jeff Landon of Kimley Horn on behalf of Parallel Company. Request for final plan unit development for proposed multifamily housing on approximately 2.15 acres, addressed as 602 James Avenue, portion of Lot 1, Block 1 of 7th and James Edition. We recently reviewed this at a concept plan level. On October 7th, 2025, City Council did approve the concept plan for this development. Just to summarize, the project consists of 2.15 acres. It is a multifamily housing with approximately 264 units and 630 beds. It includes a lobby, leasing area, coffee station, fitness wellness center, yoga meditation, sky lounge, many amenities. Water and wastewater capacity study was submitted, the final PUD application, along with maintenance and security plan, traffic study, security of the narrow area between the existing buildings, sidewalk, temporary street closure plan. Everything that was requested in the concept plan has been addressed. I would like to note that we did review further the parking on the site. The plan identifies the necessary parking as approved in the concept plan. Based on the unit count for the multifamily development, 478 parking spaces are required. And then even going further, based on the bedroom count of 630 beds, at 75% of that, as approved at the concept plan, requires 472 spaces. So the developer is providing at least the 478, which complies with our parking requirement. We did send out 17 notices on this, including the Neighborhood Association on October 18th, 2025. Staff is recommending approval of the final PUD based on the following findings and conditions. Number 1, that the final PUD plan is consistent with the approved concept PUD plan, conditions of the approved concept PUD plan, the parking ordinance, and the requirements of the PUD ordinance. Number 2, the circulation plan, public facilities and services plan, preliminary architectural plan, and site development and landscaping plan included in the final PUD plan are adequate. We'd like to add the following conditions for final. Number 1, at the time of development, full building plans must be submitted, meeting all City of Waco development requirements, including but not limited to the following: applicable building codes, site grading and drainage, parking, signage, vehicle pedestrian access and circulation, landscaping, refuse location and access, and fire protection and location access. Building permits will not be issued until full compliance with all development standards of the city of Waco and the approved PUD plans. Number 2, at the time of development, building plans for construction shall show an on-site area for visitor parking, deliveries such as food and parcel, and loading, unloading areas. This area shall not be located within the street between curb to curb. Number 3, a minimum of 478 on-site parking spaces shall be provided. Number 4, the property must be platted meeting requirements of the PUD and subdivision ordinance before the issuance of building permits.
Thank you. Is the applicant or their representative here to speak on this item?
Good evening, Mr. Chair, planning commission members. I do have a very short presentation for you guys.
What is this?
I was Sam Newman, Parallel Company, 506 West 7th Street, Austin, Texas.
Thanks.
Okay, so we've been going through this process for a good while, but I don't think we've ever had an opportunity to really introduce ourselves. We're a student housing development company based out of Austin. You can see on the map on the right side, we have experience across the country. We're full service. I personally have been doing specifically student housing for 18 years. The photos on the left representative of what this property could look like. The one that's titled Troubadour is one that we just broke ground in Lubbock this past year and is very representative, very similar to what we're doing there. The others, Auto and Rev, those were built in College Station recently, and the one Lumen on the bottom right that was built in Columbus, Ohio. Next slide. This collaborative process, I just want to give kudos to you guys. We began this process in April, and the plan is to break ground in April 2026. And this just kind of summarized all the back and forth between staff, university, city of Waco. So I thought it was good just to share it for the record. You guys did a good job working with us to plan this development. Next slide. A couple of things just want to kind of weigh in on a little bit more than the staff presentation is our schematic design. We still have a good ways to go, but right now I wanted to highlight a few of the things that are in this plan. Is that the resident lobby is on the northeast, plan northeast at the corner of James and 5th, and that's where most of the residents will come in and out as they make their way to campus. The bottom garage entry, that's where all the vehicles will come in that are being parked in the structured parking garage. I did add this because I've been working with the staff and I've actually heard from neighbors about visitor parking. And I know Uber drop off and DoorDash, that's extremely important and prevalent. So we identify this green area to provide some of the visitor parking and some of those services that are going to be required to operate efficiently. So I wanted to highlight that as part of the presentation. Next slide. This is just, our landscape plan, a preliminary landscape plan that kind of gives you a visual of what the streetscape along the sidewalk is going to look like, addressing some of the conditions or addressing all the conditions. We're going to have these wide sidewalks. We're going to have street lighting. We're going to have street trees placed. You're going to have some on 5th Street. We'll have some townhome product that will have some stoops to give it that residential feel we thought was really appropriate for 5th Street. As we get there's a lot of pedestrian activity that travels up and down 5th Street that students walking to and from campus. And this last slide just kind of give you a visual, high-level understanding of that. The community in the exterior is going to be largely a lot of windows. We have a lot of bedrooms and a lot of living rooms. It's going to have a component of masonry that's throughout every elevation, and we'll also have some cementitious cladding. The ground floor, and you see on the far left of your screen, the bottom floor, that's your resident lobby. It's going to have a lot of glass. Then the top floor on the top left is also going to have a lot of glass for our top level sky lounge. Next slide. And this is just a recap of the conditions the staff walked through. We felt like we've done a good job of talking through this. So next slide. Thank you. Appreciate the time.
Thank you. Anyone else that would like to speak on behalf of this item? Anyone that would like to speak in opposition to this item? Okay, hearing none, we'll close the public hearing and entertain a motion. You have a question for that? No, you didn't? My fault. Public hearing is closed. We'll entertain a motion.
We recommend approval based on staff findings and conditions.
Second. Motion by Mr. Smith, second by Mr. Lozano. Please poll the commission.
Allen?
Yay.
Ellis?
Yes.
Embry?
Yes.
Gibbons?
Yes.
Ingram?
Yes.
Lozano?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Sloman?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Paul?
Yes. For item Z-25-43, what is city staff's recommendation?
Mr. Chair, members of the commission, this is a request from Jeremy Fulbright, Fulbright Services, change the land use designation from urban residential to medium density residential office flex and to rezone from C3 general commercial district to R3C multifamily residential district on approximately 0.163 acres, addressed as 1230 Chestnut Avenue. The property is described as Lot 15, Block 7, Wiseman J and Company Edition. The subject property currently consists of a vacant residential dwelling located along Chestnut Avenue, just west of the intersection of Chestnut Avenue and Clifton Street, within the Northeast Riverside Neighborhood Association, Council District 1. Surrounding area, the prevalent zoning districts in the area are two-family and attached single-family residence district, O3 office limited commercial district, and C3 general commercial district, particularly along Clifton Street. R2 two-family and attached single-family residence district is also located to the west. There currently is no medium-density residential office flex land use designation in the area or R3C zoning district in the vicinity of the property. Therefore, these requests are a bit out of character compared to the general area. Based on the prevailing area R2 zoning, staff is more inclined to support a rezone to R2, which would allow two-family dwelling, but not to the proposed zoning district, so of R3C. So therefore, staff does recommend disapproval of the request to change the land use plan from urban residential to medium density residential office flex based on the following findings. Number one, it is inconsistent with nearby land use designations. Urban residential land use is present in the surrounding area, indicating incompatibility with the requested medium density residential office flex. And then planning services recommends disapproval of the request to change the zoning from C3 general commercial district to R3C multiple family residence district based on the following findings. Number one, not in alignment with the comprehensive plan, that the proposed zoning is not in keeping with the land use component of the comprehensive plan. And number two, incompatibility with surrounding zoning and development patterns. R2 zoning is more compatible with the adjacent residential uses than the proposed R3C. We did mail out 51 notices, including notice to the neighborhood association on October 18th, 2025. Additionally, notice is also emailed to the neighborhood association. We do have some requests or written communication that was returned. Sorry, I lost my sheet again. Yeah. So at the time we left the building today, we had actually 0, right? Zero. Do we have any comment
We have
cards
some
about?
folks over.
Okay, so we do have some in the audience tonight that may wish to speak on this.
Thank you. Is the applicant or their representative here to speak on behalf of this item?
Right.
Please just state your name and address.
Name is Jeremy Fulbright, and I don't have much to say on it besides I would like to design and build to provide multifamily living. I'd like for it to continue to use it to provide multifamily living for the area of that community. My goal is just to provide affordable living, and right now I don't see any reason as to why I would have to tear down this property and pour money into it and just to readjust it to a duplex since it's already standing as a multifamily dwelling. That's all I have.
So you're saying you want to retro, or it's already
Yes.
more than 2 units now?
Yes. Currently stands as a multifamily dwelling. Walls are up, ceilings are up.
Has 3 kitchens?
Yes.
And no tenants,
No tenants.
no, the last time tenants occupied them.
I do not know. Several years.
Okay.
And city staff, in the existing zoning, is it currently allowed for a duplex and stuff?
No, no
No.
residential at all. It's C3, so it's grandfather, not conforming structure.
Is grandfather not conforming? So what's preventing the applicant to just keep going with the current setup?
It would basically create, he'll have to do what's called substantial renovation to the.
What do you consider substantial?
So it's anything that it's based on the percentage of the appraised value of the property. And so anything when you start to pull permits and things like that, that's when you're required to bring it into conformance with current code. And so if part of that, you'd have to bring it, you know, it's been vacant for more than a while.
I think there are several houses that are vacant, you know, around Waco, and I have no issues with renovating them at all, you know, and moving tenants right in to serve its purpose. I mean, right now it stands as a multifamily unit, and there's nothing wrong with it at all. Oh, yeah, of course, it needs some upkeep to it, you know, but what's different about that or difficult about that?
Sounds like the current issue is it's not conforming with the zoning.
I do understand that, but it stands as a multifamily dwelling unit. I mean, I don't understand why we can't continue to use
The
it.
other issue is if you change your mind or someone after you decided to knock it over, with that zoning, they can go 35 feet high or something and disrupt the neighbors.
Right.
So to use it the way that you want to use it, do you need to go through this change? Do you need to go through the change to use it the way you use it? You just want to increment it out as a.
That's it. I want to use it as it's currently built. I don't want to build higher. I don't want to knock it down. I want to hold on to it as a long-term investment.
But if I'm understanding, he wants to do renovations to it, which would require permitting.
It might trigger.
Which permitting would require it. He's only gonna get permits if it's zoned properly for its use.
You got some requirements on what's called renovations, you know. I mean,
So that's.
That's
It's on the variation, if you're pulling on, if they're pulling the zoning, it's not an issue. If you're pulling permits on a property that's not conforming, that's when you run into what Mark was talking about, the substantial renovation. Do we know what the percentage threshold is? Threshold is?
Off the top of my head, no, but the other issue is that when they first approached us, if you're gonna continue a use as a non-conforming, it has to maintain, you know, occupancy, all of that. To best of our knowledge, what was, you know, that has since passed. That's usually about a year or two. I can't remember the specific, but I do know that it's passed, or it was beyond what would allow it to basically be considered non-conforming.
Gotcha.
So now it
Because
has
it's
to
been vacant for longer than 2 years, it
Right.
can't be considered. Do you have pictures of the property?
I think we do.
Can you share when you acquired the property?
I have not acquired the property just yet. I'm in the middle of acquiring the property. But before I do that, I need to make sure that we're able to rezone it. That's a multi-family.
Understood. Thank you.
But you can see this front unit right here is the first unit, and this back right area is the second unit, and you have a unit to the left, on the left side of the house would be
Are they
the
all
third.
in one structure?
Yes, all under one roof. The first unit is 3-bedroom, the unit with behind the U-Haul is a 2-bedroom, and the other on the left of the house is a 1-bedroom. Not in the most horrible shape, but you know, it just needs a little bit of TLC, and we can get it back to where it's back to its, you know, original living design.
There's just this one parking area for all 3 units?
So in the backyard, there is enough parking for up to 10 cars, to 10 vehicles.
Is it paved?
It will be,
Will be.
yes.
Do we know anything, and it might be for the, planning services before, but do we know anything about the neighboring properties? Are they single family?
There's a property that was recently constructed, I believe. 2 houses to the left that I believe that was a duplex. Because that's R2,
Right.
it has the hallmarks of being duplex, which is basically just the predominant zoning in that area.
Thank you.
Would city staff be more amenable to him applying for this to go to R2 rather than R3, and would that need to be a separate application or just a different motion? Or would you rather continue it for a month?
I think if it goes down to R2, that's a lesser zoning. Well, we have legal weighing in on this.
we have noticed for a more intensive
Yes.
zoning, so if plan commission wanted to, I think you could rezone to R2.
Cause you're just recommending, so you could recommend to the council or rezone to R2.
To clarify, does R2, that still just allows a duplex, that would allow.
R2 only allows a duplex,
So it still.
but that's in the neighborhood character.
We can fix the multi thing, or it would allow for.
Could you add an ADU with a new ADU ordinance on the duplex to make it 3?
The way the ADU ordinance is written right now, not saying that we're gonna relook at this, but the way it's written right now, it's only for single family.
Okay.
But we're having discussions on that right now.
What about a variance to the ordinance?
An ordinance amendment, you can't, you give variances on uses,
You can't get a variance
on a use.
on a what?
On a use,
Use.
structures only.
This is model not work as a duplex if you were.
I would have to undergo major renovations to do that.
Mr. Chair, I wouldn't mind if the applicants amenable to it to continue to the next month, but I would like to see like a list of costs of what how much improvement you're looking at doing versus the property value on that property, so we can get that comparison and then have some more discussions internally. Are you not planning on building any new structures,
No.
just working within
Working,
the walls that are there now,
that's it.
not tearing it down and rebuild? So I wouldn't mind having a little more opportunity to have some of those discussions.
Would you be open to that?
Yes.
Absolutely.
If we do that, we continue to still continue the discussion with the public, if anyone's in opposition, or just continue.
I would still open up for public comment, absolutely.
Okay.
If people are here for it, absolutely. And I apologize for the room. This is not our normal room. None of us like it.
Any more questions for the applicant? Right, thanks, Jerry.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else here that would like to speak in favor of this item? Anyone here that would like to speak in opposition to this item? Please just approach the podium, state your name and address for the record.
My name is Bill Hammond in 820 North Christian Street. I grew up at 1224 Chestnut. And my auntie owned this house at 1230. And the information I got, you're gonna change the zoning of 1224 all down the street or to 1222. Is that what you're gonna do?
The application is just for this property.
This property.
1230.
Well,
That's not,
Mm-hmm.
only that one.
that's all.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
So are you in opposition still, or?
All they can do what they want to.
Okay.
But it can't go up ballot because the city closed up.
Okay, is there anyone else that would like to speak in opposition to this item? Yes,
I think I would. I had a more question than anything.
if you'd like to ask it, please just. Please just state your name and address for the record.
My name is Missy. And property on 1227 Chestnut. And my concern was where the duplex is, by the way, they built that on an empty lot. And when they were building it, there were a lot of violations that went on. That involves several City of Waco entities, from illegal dumping to criminal, trespass, et cetera, et cetera. This lot, just visually, the duplex seems longer than wider, but all that area is on commercial, and my concern was not changing that. My question was, if it's urban residential to medium density, I don't know what the definitions of that is. I don't know what the requirements are, but it's not a lot of space to do anything. And if we researched back, I think maybe it was a dwelling at one place. Wasn't there a beauty shop or something in the back, or it's all commercial?
Yeah, nothing else.
But on next to it, that's kind of how it was set. I don't want any of it to change, and I'm across the street. The infrastructure of the plump sewage, all of it's like, I don't know. So it's facing Waco, there's a residence there. On the other side of Waco, there's an empty house. And then all around that is commercial. Across the street, there used to be a funeral home, but it's still there. Next to that, all kind of several ways down is commercial. So I'm real concerned that I don't want this to be get one thing and then we'll move next door and then we'll change this and everybody has to uproot for one upgrade. It's not a lot of space. I'm not against multifamily dwellings. When I grew up, I lived in projects. I went from the overseas 3-story house to the projects. So I'm all for shelter. But as it stands, I don't think it would be able to be renovated in a way that would not disturb the current setting of the situation. How many of y'all have seen it? Anybody here? Just one? Okay.
Some pictures.
Okay, we just do pictures, but I'm not against anything. I like the neighborhood, one of the oldies but goodies. And I would just like to defend it, the current ratings of commercial zoning. Thank you.
Thank you.
Y'all have any questions?
I have a question for you. Would it be beneficial if staff show the drawing of the current zone and the proposed rezoning?
Was that what was
you were
read
trying to-
and all?
the first thing you said you didn't understand.
Yeah, so red is commercial.
What was the urban residential, and then you mentioned medium density
Yeah.
residential office flex. So I'll leave that to them.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
So we have our land use plan, and the yellow that you see now is urban residential, which is our lowest density residential designation on the plan. 7 dwelling units per acre, I believe. And then the next one, what they're proposing is the sorry, Mark, help me, medium density. Medium density residential office flex, which is a designation that's a little more intense, more density, and it allows more districts that allow.
Now, what part has that?
Right now, none of it, but
Is
the
it
applicant is proposed, so it would look like this. This is if it was approved.
So that one lot is proposed, or that
Just the-
encircled area?
The encircled area is the notice buffer that we have to send notices out, so it would
Okay.
just be the one orange lot.
And it would be proposed for what?
That's the medium density residential. Just means a higher density than the suburban residential. It's just,
Like an
they just
apartment?
go up.
Okay,
That's the first, that's the land use designation that he would have to allow more than a duplex on the property.
I don't see where there's enough space for a duplex on the property, but unless he went up, but thank you. And why would it need to be changed to commercial again?
It's already commercial.
Why do they want to just take that one thing and make it R3?
Because the residential use isn't allowed in the commercial. It's one of those situations where the house was probably existing before the city zoned it to this commercial, so it's grandfathered in. But that's the step that we need to do some investigating on if the meetings continued, see what we could find out.
So when no one lives there, does that change the zoning? No. Okay.
Thank you. Is there Yes, sir.
And that's, you gotta remember. Clifton Street used to be Old Dallas Highway. You know, doing the 50. And that's most likely why it was gone commercial.
Thank you.
And then Hillsborough Drive became New Dallas Highway. And then 35, New Dallas Highway.
Is there anyone else present that would like to speak in opposition to this item? Okay, we're going to do a continuance. Do we leave it open? And still entertain a motion. Okay, we will leave the public hearing open and entertain a motion.
Move that we continue to next meeting.
I second.
Motion by Mr. Smith, second by Ms. Gibbons. Please poll the commission.
Alan?
Yay.
Ellis?
Yes.
Kimber?
Yes.
Gibbons?
Yes.
Ingram?
Yes.
Lozano?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Salome?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Cole?
Yes. For item Z 25 47 and 48, what is city staff's recommendation?
Mr. Chair, members of the commission, this is a request filed by Nate Embry on behalf of Larry Casey to change the land use designation from, oh, did I skip one?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I had notes on the wrong one. All right. Start over. The case is Z 25 47 and 48, request by Jane Kittner on behalf of Trenton Sutton. Request for special use permits to allow a drive-through lane for a restaurant and to allow retail sales between 7 p.m. and midnight in an O3 office limited commercial district on approximately 0.65 acres, addressed as 12,400 China Spring Road. As noted, the O3 zoning district that the property is located in now does have, it allows a limited amount of office retail uses. However, retail uses are limited between the hours of 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. And then also within the O3 district, it does require a special permit to have a drive-through window on the property. The property is located in the southwestern corner of Sylvia Avenue, China Spring Drive, near the intersection North River Crossing and China Spring Drive, near the western edges of the city limits. It is located in the China Spring Neighborhood Association, Council District 5. There are several single-family residences within the general area as well as undeveloped farmland. Based on the size of the property, we are not recommending approval of either the request for the drive-through window or the hours to exceed the designated hours in the O3 district based on the following findings. Number one, that the proposed use is not compatible with the appropriate and orderly development of the area in which it is located. Number two, that the proposed use would be more objectionable to neighboring properties because of traffic congestion, noise, fumes, vibration, any other characteristics than any use permitted in the zoning district without the grant of a special exception. And three, that there is adequate supply of underutilized and vacant land currently zoned for uses located along the China Spring Drive corridor and at the intersection North River Crossing and China Spring Drive to support the appropriate growth and development of the surrounding area. We did mail out 13 notices on October 18th, including official notice to the neighborhood association. The time the report was prepared, I don't believe we had any at the time the report was prepared, but before coming to the meeting, we had 2 comments returned opposed and 2 comments returned in favor. Those are included in your packet. That would be the staff's recommendation.
Thank you. Is the applicant or their representative here to speak on behalf of the site?
I'm Jane Kidner and Pay Design Associates, 4915 Lakewood Drive in Waco. I'm an architect for the project and my owner, raise your hand, Trent Sutton over there. This is a very small lot that became a lot smaller when TxDOT and the city of Waco took 30 feet off the 2 street sides. So Trent's left with a lot that is very hard to put anything on. Right next to us on the left, the C3 zoning is a convenience store with a gas pumps that is just going up. Down Sylvia is the school, the high school. So a lot of the parents drive there twice a day. And on the other side is this ginormous water tower. So we're kind of limited as to what we can do there. So we got the opportunity to put a Marco's Pizza in there. This place is a pizza desert. You can't get pizza delivered out here. So what we wanted to do is have about 2/3 of the building be the Marco's Pizza with about 40 seats inside. So like if they had a football game or something, they could come over and have pizza, but it's basically for delivery and for pickup. Now, the ordinance doesn't allow us to designate it this way, I guess, but it's not a drive-through lane. We will not have any ordering equipment on site. What you do is you get on your phone and you order pizza and they tell you when it'll be ready and you come and pick it up. And since it's pizza and kind of hard to get through a drive-through window without dropping it, they use the sliding door. So it'll be next to the counter where they serve the people to come to pick it up. And then they'll just hand the pizza box to the people that they come through the lane. We've tried to have a really light footprint on the site. We have a 25-foot. If you see on the left-hand side, that long property line there, there's a very large residential lot next to it, and the house is about 2/3 of the way back away from us. Along that property line, there is a really nice tree line. You can kind of see it vaguely there. So what we want to do is fill it in instead of just wiping everything out, because there's some pretty good sized trees, and from the residential side, you can't even see our lot. So we want to fill that in with some more evergreen, maybe oak pines. We have not selected exactly what, but we'll clean it up, fill it in, so that you also keep that buffer of noise from China Spring Highway. Because, I mean, China Spring Highway is a place you want to live on at this point. It's a busy street, and Sylvia is busy. Our drive is going to be up towards the intersection when you come in, and the two spaces that the people that are making deliveries will just right inside that drive. So all the headlights face China Spring Road and not the residential. We'll have that big landscape buffer, and they won't be open until midnight. They do. Marco's usually open. It's 10 during the week and 11 on weekends, 10:30 in the morning till then. And so we feel like with the 25-foot buffer plus the existing landscape barrier and the fact that none of our parking except 3 spaces face towards the back of the property where the residences are. I went out last Friday.
Good. We're not, so I'll just let you wrap up.
Okay. Went out last Friday and talked to a few people on the street. That's where we got a couple emails from them. They are just thrilled that we could have pizza. Same with China Spring Methodist Church. We let them know and they said, well, we'll be ordering on Wednesdays. So this is a place that's in transition, but it's not with the school there and the administration. Church. Those 4 houses, they have a lot of buffer because they've got big lots, but you know, it's not going to increase the issues.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have you had a chance to talk to a neighbor right below, like the neighbor?
Nobody's been able to get a hold of them. It's an older couple, and the neighbor across the street said he has seen the man out in the yard a couple times in the last few months, but he hasn't seen his wife. So I really don't don't know anything other than that.
His wife passed away a few months.
Oh, she did?
Can we go back?
She passed away. 4 months ago. Sorry.
Question for you, you mentioned, where would your entrance be then, with China Spring?
So
No, we're not allowed to have an entry off
Okay.
China Springs, so it's just right up close to the corner.
So can you explain flow of traffic coming into?
Sure.
Can you go back to the aerial?
Did I help? Well,
Oh,
okay, here's the convenience store. Right, here's the water tower. You come in here and park facing China Spring Highway. There's 3 spaces here that are right inside the entry. These 2 spaces will be for the delivery drivers. And then if you're coming through the pickup lane, you've got, on pickup lanes, the code requires 3 space room for 2 cars, and we can get about 5. So we think it's, and then our handicap spaces are over here. So you come in and park and then leave.
Can you go back to the aerial so that we can see China Spring?
88.
Yeah. So can you explain how someone would get to it off China Spring?
You're right there.
So going over that median,
No,
Yeah, there's a break in the beginning of it. I just do it anyway. Schools.
City staff, is that a legal U-turn at the end of that median? Or
Yeah, we're feeling.
Can you do a U-turn right there? Or do you have to go farther?
no, you can turn around. She's going one too
Oh,
far.
yeah.
Right.
So there's no U-turn.
There's no reason.
There's no U-turn. And this is the schools.
There's not a turn left only lane, but
There
city
is.
staff, can you turn left from China Spring onto Sylvia without breaking any?
There's a turn on the lane.
There is a turn only lane.
To come on to Sylvia?
Correct. For transfer.
There's a lot of people that access that to go to the middle school.
Yeah, that's the way you actually got to drop your kids off through that
That
road and pick it up through Sylvia.
Yeah, there's a drive that comes right through the back of the school there. And the school administration. Right. You're right. And there's the Methodist church.
Thank you.
And the residences, 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is the next door, maybe that we haven't been to before. The house is here. And our tree line is way over here, that's why, you know, the 200 feet just barely catches their house. So it's quite a ways away.
any other questions?
From our, go ahead. Well, just from the department agency reviews for traffic. There is a note that says there is no left turn bay within the existing median on Time Spring Road. Sylvia Avenue accommodates 1 lane each direction. So that tells me that there's no left turn bay, but my question is it safe and lawful to turn left onto Sylvia directly from China Spring Highway? And I would like city staff or someone other than the applicant to answer that.
Yeah, I mean, I would be honest, if there isn't a left turn bay, then you shouldn't be turning left off the China Spring.
You should not be turning left. Is it lawful to turn left?
We looked it up on Google Maps, there is a turn indicating lane, it's just not clear if it's far enough up China Spring that you'd have to backtrack a couple feet up the oncoming traffic lanes to get onto Sylvia, or if it's actually intended for you to cross straight onto Sylvia. Does that mean?
Okay.
Get on to.
It is noted in the comments, the special permit is approved, of course, under comments that traffic impact analysis study will be required at development as well.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that the city's planning at some point to extend Sylvia since they took right away from us for that purpose, I guess.
I believe that's Text dot, correct? Is that city? No, Sylvia's not, but no, Sylvia's not. You're right.
Lost it on Sylvia too.
We can't speak to that, so.
Yeah.
Our items tonight are the special permits.
Then to clarify, 11 o'clock is the latest that the Marcos would close. We would stay open until midnight.
I looked up them in town and that's what their hours are. They don't have very many people.
Yeah, so we could amend the permit though, if we wanted to say we'd issue a special permit to stay open until 11 and we don't have to let it go till midnight and that wouldn't affect the operations of the business. So we could tailor the permit for a shorter timeline. This was what I'm getting at there. And then how essential to the operation of that proposed business is the drive-through? Say you don't have a drive-through lane.
One of the Marcos.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then for them to come.
It is not really a restaurant. It is a place where you can pick up pizza or have it delivered to you.
And
And
then
you people can
spots with the signs that say, no parking only, you can't park here, go to the restaurant and grab your pizza and come out, they don't allow that.
That's what all the spaces are.
Well, right, that's my question, so if that's all your spaces, you could go in and pick up your pizza.
Right, right.
Then you wouldn't necessarily need a drive-through, if you
They do a lot of people want to come in their pajamas.
can, I get that would be the preference, I'm just, again, just trying to.
Are you part of the franchise agreement with Marco?
Yeah, that's what I was trying to, so they require.
They require.
Got it.
People have pizza there.
And so there's no seating inside or?
Yes, there are
I was looking.
a couple booths on one side and maybe 4 on the other, a maximum of 40 seats.
So occupancy, 40 people sit in.
40 people could sit in there.
Okay.
It's usually not what happens, but I could see like after a game or something, the kids would come in and go and sit.
Okay, thank you.
I guess one last question. If we were to also continue this item to get more info on the accessibility from China Spring Road, would a month delay have
So the Marco's franchise, they gotta be out of there, they're already up and their current landlord being generous enough to let them have another 6 months renewal of their lease. Yeah, I'd have to talk to them, see if they'd be contractual to sign another 5-year lease agreement with them if they say past that or not. I can't answer that.
I guess one question for city staff, just to confirm, the drive-through scenario that they spelled out with the sliding door, that falls under the city drive-through definition where they would need the permitting, that's not a.
For queuing purposes, yes.
Okay, just wanted to make sure.
Okay, is there anyone else present that would like to speak on behalf of this item? Is there anyone here?
I didn't fill out a form, but may I?
Yes. Just state your name.
My name is Rachel Pakachick. I've been Mr. Sutton's banker for 17 years. Just one thing I wanted to point out, just in case you guys didn't know, can we go back to the picture of the map where the property is? And I don't know if this matters to y'all, but I thought it mattered to me. So directly, may I go up here? So this land right now, that's right here. It was previously vacant, but now they're building a convenience store there. So there's a convenience store that'll be open for way later than I would assume that this Marco's Pizza. So it was kind of odd to me that this one couldn't stay open till 11, can only stay open till 7, but the new convenience store that's going in across the street will be open for so many more hours. But that was just odd to me, and I wanted to point that out in case the others, you guys didn't know. So that's all I had to say. Thank you.
Is there anyone that would like to speak in opposition to this request? Okay, seeing none, we will close the public hearing and entertain motion. More discussion.
Yeah, so was it decided the plan to not continue it based off of the lease for Marco?
That was just info they provided. I don't think I'm not deciding on anything.
I would make a motion that we continue till next meeting. I think there's still some discussion to be had there. Specifically on that turn in, but also on the drive through. I think there would be more things that maybe we need some more information on. But
What do you want cleared in the drive through?
Well, I guess right now, I would be thinking that I would vote yes for a special permit on the drive-through. Just with the way that it's all zoned right now. So I guess it was to give the applicant more of a chance to work through that with neighbors and city staff, because right now my answer would be no. If neighbors said that they weren't opposed to it, there were no issues, I'd be likely to say yes. So it's given an opportunity, I guess, to get this to a yes for me. Because if I voted now, I would vote against issuing the special permit. That's just my thinking, but open to anyone else who wants to vote or do something different.
Yeah, I mean, it's a valid concern. I think it's right up next to that house. People are gonna come down Sylvia, maybe even back into Sylvia, and there's just someone that lives in that house, but. It also is tough because it's right up next to transfer. So
I have a question for staff then, for the traffic impact analysis, do we know how long that usually takes? Would a month be enough for them to get that? They'll need more time?
No, they hired that out.
Okay.
But can I address the commission? The question for the applicant, Mr. Chair, is if the franchise would be willing to restrict the hours on the drive-through window.
I would be willing to, like, I wanna know that, so.
Is the feeling though that the drive-through changes the number of cars that come in and out? If we're making them park and get out of their car?
I mean, just my assumption is yes, right? Because if it's just a sit down restaurant or not as. The aid of convenience, right, is gonna increase the traffic. Would be my assumption. And so
I
like,
think on restaurants that are able to be ordered and picked up at the drive-through, but with a pizza. The idea is not that you sit and drive through also. So either way, they're making an intention to order. And they come get it. It's just whether or not we want them to park and get out of their car. Slam their door, get back in their car, slam. Like, to me, it's actually less obstructive that they pull in and pick up a pizza and drive away.
I mean, I can see that point. I just am saying that I could see the potential for increased traffic, because like an increased number of customers you can service because of the drive-through.
Or someone gets there early in queues and you have more than 5 cars in that drive-through, but now you've got 7 cars out in the street turning Sylvia. I mean, there's
Yeah,
questions there on.
10:30 at night.
Yeah, I mean, there's just questions.
Yeah.
Which again, I think would probably be answered. I just don't know if I can vote on it tonight and forget about an approval.
That's what because of the traffic operations review. I mean, I'm not saying that the concerns couldn't be addressed, but I think that's where my concern lies. Like, as of what they're saying right now, I wouldn't feel great about issuing these permits. But they might be able to be mitigated.
Can you go to the current zoning, land use plan and then the zoning? So what is this land use? Suburban residential. What is it?
Suburban residential, so it's like.
It's the lower density residential.
Very makes sense.
Very low density is the whole, all of this is going to use land use that?
Yeah, the whole. Yeah, and then when you go to the next one, you'll see it's R1B that progresses down Sylvia. But like we said, when this was annexed, you know, this was purposefully done to apply these zoning districts here to provide that.
Was that when that C2 going? Was that always C2? Convenience stores going in on across the street.
I would No, when she was here.
No recent rezone
But
in
there's
the last
been-
5 years.
Yeah,
No, it is. Yeah,
pretty sure this was
C2.
Design.
Yeah, annexed over there, that's been the whole, it wasn't originally O3 and then.
Can you go back to the area that we can see more of the? So we have a house, we have a school, right? Is that the school?
There's church.
Oh, the church, that's a church. We have a house, you have 2 houses from the church in this tract. You have a couple of houses on the same side. They access their house from, so. And where's the school that they're talking about? Is it farther down on high school?
Yeah.
There's high school and.
Middle school is high school.
It's on high school, Chinatown.
It's on China Spring.
It's on board.
Yeah.
It's on, yeah.
My motion to continue, I think I wanna find a way to make it work, there's not a lot of use for this property, I think commercial use would be good use, I would like to find a way to make it. I think the best way to do that is to continue it for a month and let the applicant work with city staff, so that's what I'm gonna do.
We have a motion for continuance.
Second that.
Can we reopen the public hearing just?
Okay, we will reopen the public hearing.
For that purpose, thank you.
We have a motion by Mr. Smith, a second by Ms. Salome. Please poll the commission.
Allen,
Yeah.
Ellis,
Yes.
Embry,
Yes.
Givens,
Yes.
Ingram,
Yes.
Lozano,
Yes.
Rodriguez,
Yes.
Salome,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Cole.
Yes. For item Z 25-50, what is city staff's recommendation?
Now this item. This is a request filed by Nate Embry on behalf of Larry Cathy, request to change the land use designation from open space and suburban residential to mixed use flex and to rezone from R1B single family residence district to C2 community commercial district on approximately 16.24 acres addressed as 3301 North Highway 6. As noted, the property is designated as suburban residential and open space. The open space designation was placed on this property due to the location of what's called the 503 line, which is the area of flowage easement for the Lake Waco. This has gone through previous requests in the past for the whole property. However, we did ask the applicant if they would consider reducing it down so that the zone change request would actually be outside of that flowage easement. And that's the zone change that you see tonight. So the request is to, again, amend the land use plan in addition to rezoning the property from R1B single family residence district to C2 community commercial. We did mail out, not many property owners on this one, 4 notices on October 18th. This property is not located within a neighborhood association. Planning Services is recommending approval of the request to change the land use plan from open space to suburban residential and suburban residential to mixed use flex based on the following findings. Number 1, the location near major streets. Property is located off of Highway 6. And number 2, compatibility with surrounding area land uses, current and future. The proposed mixed-use flex designation is more compatible than the existing suburban residential and open space, the existing commercial and industrial uses north of the subject property along Highway 6. We're also recommending approval of the request to change the zoning from R1B, single family residence district to C2, community commercial district based on the following findings. Number 1, compliance with the dimensional requirements. Once platted, the property will meet the area and width requirements for the C2 zoning districts as proposed. And number 2, compatibility with surrounding uses and development patterns. The C2 zoning district allows a mix of compatible commercial uses consistent with the existing commercial and light industrial development along Highway 6 to the north of the subject property within the ETJ. And then the designation continues the commercial pattern along the corridor while maintaining the R1B zoning as a transitional buffer.
And to show that it is compatible.
Oh, yes, and to amend those, thank you, well, and to amend those findings for this zone change to add that if approved, the proposed zone change is compatible with the land use plan as amended. Thank you.
Thank you. Is the applicant or their representative here to speak on behalf of this item?
I'm here, but I've been asked to limit my comments. If you need me, I got you.
Thank you. Is there anyone here to speak in opposition to this item? Yes, please just state your name and address for the record at the front.
My name is Brian Lewis. I'm at 432 Dosher Lane. Thank you for your time this evening. Larry Cappy owns a piece of property across the street from our house off of Highway 6, 28-acre parcel, mixed use commercial and poorly developed piece of property. Meaning it's just unsightly, no organization, no proper ingress and egress for his commercial use from Highway 6. Since he's been on that property, he's extended driveways out to Dosher Lane through a residential no through trucking pass. With that being said, obviously they can hub, but now you've got a full trucking company running out of there, got multiple businesses and kind of a, just no clear plan. As you've seen different people come up and present their rezoning and having a full plan for a business, what their exact idea, how they're going to enhance the community. I'm not seeing any of that with this redesignation of this zone. And so I'm not against him building something that would enhance the community. And so I'm not trying to resist his urge to develop a piece of property, but I would hesitate to redesignate this until he does have an actual business plan with what he was projecting to build. This is the corridor coming into Spiegelville community from over Lake Waco. Sorry, a little nervous. Public speaking is a little tough for me, but there's a lot of beautiful businesses when you come down Highway 6 on both sides, commercial properties. Lord knows we're going to need more commercial, as I'm sure the outlying community as it grows will be more residential. So we'll need commercial to support that. This is a great opportunity to hold that and really ensure that we're building something that's going to enhance the community and not just be an extension of what he's already built, which is just kind of a mess. And so when I say his property is just further to the north on Highway 6 as you pass McLaughlin Road on the east side of the highway, it's about 20-acre parcel of just a menagerie of warehousing. If you take a quick overview and look at that property, there's no clear traffic line. There's just a mismatch of different businesses and buildings he's constructed over time. And I'd hate to see that here and see that as I'm coming home every day. Thank you.
Thank you. So quick question, just so I can clarify, the parcel you're talking about, all the buildings, that's not this parcel, it's a different parcel.
It's another parcel he owns on Highway 6, just further to the north by about a mile.
Just wanted to make sure. Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chair, that property that's being referred to is in the ETJ and not in the city of Waco. So there are more controls as far as building and site development within the city. In fact, our city limits is on this property.
Wait, his property is within city limits?
Yeah, city limits is right on Overflow Road right there. So he's on the edge, right?
Yeah. That kind of blue highlight you see is the city, and
Okay.
anything outside of that is ETJ.
My point with that just being, my point with that is student housing. You got a company coming in to build student housing in Waco. They have a full business proposal. They're showing examples of what they previously built in other areas, beautiful concepts. Any one of those would be a great, add to our community here. Only wish from us in the community is just that. Now, the last 1 minute, notice was given. I found it on the Spiegelville community page. It was a short notice given. It was withdrawn and taken off of the page. I saved it. Luckily enough, I remember and went, oh shoot, look this meeting up to speak on that. But again, if it was a true ideal of the bettering our community, it's not something you would withdraw. It'd be something you'd have pride in and leave up on the page and, hey, this is what we want to add to the community. And so the fact that you're meeting the minimum requirement of public notice, pulling it off, it speaks loudly to me, and hopefully it does to others.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to speak in opposition?
Wallace, I live at 2801 Spiegelville Road. Mr. Chairman, is this a piece of property y'all just
had a tent on it and some porta potties and everything sitting there on the corner here about 2 weeks
I
ago.
believe the owner did have a church room.
Okay, you know, the gentleman made a good point. You rezone it, but we don't see what it looks like. That's a question I don't understand. I was on the planning committee for up in Dallas years ago. City services, what do you have to provide in what time frame? There's no sewer there, correct? Is there water there?
No.
Drinking water, I mean, you know, not portable, but drinking water. So, I mean, how do you control that? And what length of time do you have to put that in? Because I'm gonna speak on the next one about the big, huge property where I back to my place. It's the what are you gonna have on there? City services and everything. How long do you have to, what's your time frame to furnish sewer and water to this piece of property? Or can he put in, and I mean, nothing against Mr. Debris, knew your dad for a long time. Does he put it in a septic system?
City staff, would you all like to respond?
Yes, the utilities will be brought out with the annexation and the development agreement entered in on the next case that we haven't gotten to yet. But at this time, this is the zoning. We have not reviewed development plans on this property. We're just trying to establish what those development plans need to be for, whether it's a residential or a commercial use. And then at that point, once it's rezoned, then we would look into those development plans and run it through our development review process.
Still, my question is, where do you find the sewer?
That is all entered into a development agreement with the applicants of our next application for the annexation.
The annexation off of Spiegelville Road? The
No.
214 acres? No, okay.
No,
All right.
no,
Okay.
no.
I got it.
It's okay.
Yes.
No problem.
You ready to go?
Is there anyone else that would like to speak in opposition to this agenda item? Yes.
I do have a couple of questions. My name is Doris Ward, and I've lived out in this area since the 80s off and on. For the last almost 30 years consistently. I do know the Cathys. I do know the reputations. As he was putting it, that is a mess out there where they have the stuff off of Dosher Lane. Absolute mess. My question is, what does mixed use flex mean?
City staff.
Mixed use flex is basically a land use category that supports different types of zones. Generally, it allows for a little higher density, but it also allows for commercial. So that's why he has to request the land use change here. Couldn't do it with the current open space and I believe suburban residential that's out there. That's just basically our comprehensive plan that we adopted years back.
Can, Mr. Embry, maybe you can answer the question for me. Is that 16 acres that he plans on rezoning stuff, is that under a floodplain with the Corps of Engineers?
I don't think you're allowed to address me.
So,
I back that down.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah,
somebody else.
I don't believe it is in the floodplain, correct?
No, so
That's why
go
they're
back
zoning
to
it
the-
oddly shaped area.
Yeah, I'm gonna stand up here.
Because the majority of that is in the floodplain, from my understanding.
Property is this entire triangle here.
Yes.
This is all floodplain and the flowage easement in here. So we've asked them to redo their description for the zone change for only this portion that is outside of the.
What is the elevation for that portion, do you know?
This is the 503 line.
I understand that, but is it above the 503 line, that particular area?
If it was
that you're
below
talking
the
about?
503 line, it would also be in the 503 boundary.
I understand. What I'm asking is, do you know exactly what the elevation is for that particular area?
I know it's above 503.
And but you
At
can't
this
tell me
point,
exactly what it is.
Again, we are just rezoning the property. We do not have development plans on this property at this time. We're looking at land uses, not the construction on this property.
Because if you rezone something that backs up to a area that is under the floodplain, then you're taking the chance of that area being flooded on purpose because of Lake Waco, in case something happens to the dam or whatever. You have housing there that is going to flood. I've seen water come all the way up to that point of that road and area, and some of that area, I've seen underwater. You're gonna have a lot of major issues there. A lot of major issues, especially if they rezone it for residential.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
I did not sign in to speak, but I know quite a bit about this property. I guess it tripped my interest where I want to speak to the group. I did spell this piece.
State your name and address, just your name and address.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm Kent Smith. I live on Spiegelville Road, around Spiegelville Road. I also did sell this very piece of property myself when I worked for Kelly Road. It does have a lot of land under floodplain. I did talk to the Corps of Engineers back then, and they told me that I would have to get, if I was trying to pick and choose what parts we could ever build houses on or anything of that nature, I would have to get a certified surveyor to give me elevations of any spot that we were going to try to use. I might not be on the level of this, y'all correct me if I'm wrong. A house absolutely cannot be built below the 503 line, and especially where the Corps of Engineers paid to have the right to flood it. When we were buying our ranch, which is around the corner from this, we had to prove, before you build a house on our own 120 acres, we had to prove that our house site was above 503. On this particular piece of land, it was up and down either way. Now, a house cannot be built below 503. I think any commercial building can, you're not living. I could be wrong on that. I just would hate, I passed this many times a day going home. I would hate to see this thing turn into a dump ground. If there's some way to put restrictions on it, or this doesn't turn into another dump ground like some other stuff I see, you know, that it doesn't bother me. I think if we keep Waco beautiful, it's wonderful. You know, this is by the lake. By all means, let's keep whatever's going to be there. It's an asset to Waco. The last thing we need is another dump ground on Highway 6.
Thank you.
And this is within city of Waco boundaries, so no matter what zoning it is, each zoning has certain standards because it is within the city of Waco that they have to adhere to.
Correct. Being that this is in the city of Waco, it has to comply with all our building standards, as well as if it is in the floodplain or floodplain development standards. The 503 line is shown on the survey that's in your report packet. We didn't have it on the slide, but I don't know if you can see it, but that's that red line that I drew on here. That is the 503 boundary separating from the Army Corps of Engineers property. And you're absolutely right, nothing can go in that property. So that's why the description for the zone change is only outside of that 503, but it doesn't mean that they can just build whatever they want. They still have to meet those requirements for construction. From a FEMA floodplain point of view, commercial construction has to be either elevated or flood-proof to the floodplain elevation. And then for residential, there's no floodproofing, you have to elevate it. And in the city of Waco, we actually have what's called freeboard, which also requires additional height above that FEMA requirement.
And then to address their concern versus maybe another property that they referenced, the other property they referenced was in ETJ, which is county land that does not have.
The only authority cities have on that is platting subdivision, and that is it.
Does C2 allow for a laydown yard or any kind of industrial use?
No.
Yes, sir.
I have spoken to the Corps of Engineers numerous times. I don't mean to change what you said exactly, but the Corps of Engineers have told me on my own place, I cannot raise the land that they have paid to have the right to flood. And so if I've got something, say that's at 502.5, I cannot bring in a foot of dirt and build a house that's like, they've already paid for the right to flood that land. And I'm told that's the same way.
And two different things. There's the 503 area, that's all the easement area. We're not talking about that property tonight. We're only talking about the property that's outside of that. So.
Cities might be helpful to just order some examples of C2 uses. You could.
Let's see. I'll find some good ones.
General retail.
Retail.
Restaurants.
Restaurants with the drive-through, blah, blah, right, yeah, it's not as obviously as obtrusive as C3. That's why we don't support C3. So they're trying to find some.
Could you do a gas station at C3?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, in general, I mean, it's Highway 6 frontage, I think it needs to be out of the R1B. I think all their concerns are super valid, but it's a lot less out there, and they keep this throw it over. That's you know, that's gonna be the case.
Can I address Nate or? I have a question.
Have a chance to respond to I don't think it's a chance to respond to.
Is they allowed to make a rebuttal?
But yes, legal.
3 minutes.
It's
Rebut.
ladies and gentlemen, the commission, case number 106 Silversburg. Oh, you want to do it?
Well, they wanted you to respond to them.
Oh, the first thing I would say is R1B's not a good fit, like Taylor's saying. No one wants to live next to Highway 6 for houses. Not a good fit. The area that the request is for the zone changes specifically, not in the flood zone or the 503 Army Corps of Engineers. So none of that really applies. The objectionable property, approximately probably 4 or 5 miles down the road, is not in city limits, the Wild West. I agree that it's ugly, but it has nothing to do with this part. C2 allows for nice, new, expensive stuff that helps the tax base. Any questions?
Man, you may not be able to answer, but do you know if Mr. Kathy, what his intentions are for the land at least?
We don't have plans. Some of the folks said they want to know. That's not, as y'all know, we don't, yes or no, specific plan. That's not what we do here. The honest truth is he probably won't do anything. He'll probably employ me to find someone who will build something nice in C2 that's expensive and pretty.
I'm sure the answer is probably no, but do you know if he's even reached out to his neighbors?
The neighbor is Army Corps of Engineers.
Oh.
And yes, I've reached out. A lot of the neighbors, there's been a lot of Facebook keyboard drama. They don't like what he's done out there, which is, it's ugly. That's fair. But that's also 5 miles down the road and unrelated to this parcel.
You know, the opposition that I have with,
I'm sorry, are we allowed?
Sorry, Joni, are we allowed to take more? Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, we'll take more public comment.
Any more questions for me?
Thank you. Those state your name and
Tony
address.
Hot mess up at 7700 on Highway 6. And I wish this was in the boundary that you guys could maybe have some leverage to make them clean this other property up before you did any kind of things over here. The question I have is, you guys did give some beautiful plans that you guys were able to reflect back on and look over with all of this. And I don't see anything with this one. Why would you want to change it? And what's the plans? I mean, I think there should be more transparency with this guy. He's constantly headbutting with the county commissioners. We've got a current dispute with him, along with all of our neighbors. He's made things really, really hard on us. And I would hate to see this. It's a beautiful little piece of property. As you come across the bridges, you see the park, and then you see this property, and then you see farmland. And to have in this guy's hands, it's just like. So that's all I was asking is like, maybe I would just really ask for you guys to hold off before he has a plan of what he's gonna do.
I think the challenges in this case, sound like potentially he might just end up selling it, but it's hard for him to get a plan if he doesn't know what he can construct a plan within.
He'll find a way to do something really not good, so, yeah.
Well, with the city, just given the location, it does kind of give some measures in terms of the standard,
Yeah,
you know, so we're hoping that would suffice.
Yeah, the city of Waco has standards like landscaping and lighting, things like that, and it's not gonna be an industrial laydown. So,
When we've seen examples of developments in previous cases. I don't necessarily know specifically that those cases had to rezone, but like that is the first piece of the process before you even can have a development plan, is it has to be zoned properly for, and our job up here is to consider the land use and then the applied for zoning and then any potential use. So even if an applicant came to us with, I want to rezone and this is my idea for it, we almost have to think about anything that could be, like, that is just at that point, like an idea of something, and that doesn't mean that that's what has to even go on that, that piece of property, because we're just talking about the zone.
Personally, it's like the property I just did just stay where it's at because it's kind of a limited space in the area and residential. I don't know if they're able to build on that or not, but yeah, the guy has a really bad history. So I just wanted to stay. Thanks, guys.
I'd like to reflect real quick. I really appreciate Commissioner Salome for stating that was a perfect example of what the Plan Commission has to consider is the full range of the zoning. I also wanted to just say, to address a couple of the comments, we saw a whole lot of plans with one of the cases. That was a PUD. That's a whole different matter where we can impose conditions on straight zoning like this. The city has no ability to impose conditions. That would be unconstitutional. So I just wanted to address that because I've heard a lot about we should have plans. Well, that's not what we can require.
Okay, is there anyone else that would like to speak in opposition? Sir.
My name is Rick Edmondsville. I'm 7215 North Highway 6. My own property right across from the mess that they're talking about. It has devalued our property. And if you can see what has been done to Dozier Lane over the past few years, it has devalued their property very badly. My only concern is Tom Ledbetter a couple of weeks ago, Channel 25 ran a special on it. The dust coming across this highway right now is unreal. It's like white out in a snowstorm. My concern is, are they going to park gravel trucks over there? We're out on Highway 6, we're inundated with gravel trucks. Okay, everybody that drives Highway 6 has a busted windshield. Everybody. Okay, and if it's going to be more gravel trucks, it's tearing up the roads and tearing up the property. And like he said, it's tore up Dozier bad. So that's all I want to say is the guy that owns this, I'm kind of like them. I really don't trust the fella. And if he had something that y'all can't see, if we knew something better, I would go ahead with it all part. I'm a commercial man myself. But if it's just gravel trucks and more tear up, please don't know.
And I will just to make a comment on that, I'm looking at the zoning table. On my phone, so it's a little bit hard, but I don't believe that a commercial parking facility is permitted within C2. So he would not.
Like a commercial garage, parking garage, or just
pretty big. I mean, like,
yeah.
My assumption is that if you're
like vehicle storage type situation.
Yeah, I mean, it says commercial parking facility, so if you're.
I think commercial parking facility would mean like a garage.
Okay.
Any vehicle storage, if it were allowed, and I don't recall if it is allowed, but would have to be screened.
And I believe special permit.
And maybe special permits.
C2.
So
vehicle storage.
So there should be some comfort in knowing that it could not be utilized without needing another special permit and property improvements to park trucks.
Right. And the other thing being that it is in the city as opposed to the other property, we have development standards too, as far as landscaping, paving for parking lots, things like that as well. So whether it's a special permit or not, those are automatically required with development.
Yeah,
For
there are certainly
non-residential.
zoning classes that would make industrial uses much easier than this too, if that was his intention. One more comment, yes, sir.
But one question, follow up to that, like. The unconstitutional part, like rezoning is the leverage the city has for approving something new. That's my best understanding of it, and maybe it's wrong, but. If there's not a plan, you know, even being provided of why to rezone this land. And then the reasoning of giving, maybe nothing will even happen with this land. Then what's the purpose of rezoning it? Keeping the leverage of, bring a plan, show us what you want to build and, or have, you know, just a concept of anything. But, you know, having nothing. And yeah, I have been relating to another property owns outside of that jurisdiction. That's the only thing I have as a comparable of an example of how he treats commercial property. Yes, I understand the city has, you know, rules and regs for, you know, what you're gonna do to develop, but in each of those are small loopholes to do something in this thing and that thing, just as it happens in the county. That's how we got to where we're at. And with this, I would say preserves the right of the land as it is. And with the idea of, it's not the city saying no, just bring a concept of what you plan on building.
Thank you. Okay, hearing no further comments, we will close the public hearing and entertain a motion. For discussion.
I move to recommend approval of the land use change and the zoning based on staff findings.
Second that.
Okay, we have a motion by Ms. Salome and a second by Mr. Ellis. Please pull the commission.
Allen,
Nay.
Ellis,
Yes.
Gibbons,
No.
Ingram,
Yes.
Lozano,
No.
Rodriguez,
Yes.
Salome,
Yes.
Smith,
No.
Paul,
Yes.
5-4 pass.
Motion passes. Okay,
I
I
want to give the caveat that this will go to.
Yes, let's go to
You know,
the
council, yeah, there's another chance to be heard at the council meeting next month.
yes, this we heard on November 18th. Wakefield City Council. Meeting. Okay, moving on to annexations, item ANX-25-2, what is city staff's recommendation?
Chair, members of the commission, this is a request for the voluntary annexing of territory comprised of untracked land containing approximately 567.5745 acres more or less, designating the comprehensive land use designation for the said territory as suburban residential, designating PUD planning and development zoning for the said territory, and extending the boundary limits of the said city to include the territory described as being 567.5745 acre tract of land situated in the H.W. Jones Survey, abstract number 489, and the J. Gross Survey, abstract number 368, McLennan County, Texas, and being all of a called 567.56 acre tract of land described in the special warranty deed to Woodway 567 LLC, recorded in instrument number 2021042326, official public records of McLennan County, Texas. Said territory is located south of the intersection of Tom Ledbetter Drive and Highway 6 and within Waco's extraterritorial jurisdiction. Enrique, can you pull up that slide that shows both? If I can, just real quick, this explains for the audience that we have two annexation requests tonight. This is the first one. And I'll go here point. This is the one. Annexation 2025-02. This is the property here that we were just discussing. And this is right across the street. The second one is down here, annexation 2503 Edgewood. We'll be discussing that one next. So, the subject property is located southeast corner, North Highway 6 and Tom Ledbetter Road within the Waco's extraterritorial jurisdiction and adjacent to Council District Number 5. The surrounding area is largely undeveloped and characterized by open land and limited existing infrastructure. Properties within the nearby city limits are primarily designated as O due to their proximity to Lake Waco with corresponding R1B single-family residence zoning. On October 7th, 2025, the city council entered into a development agreement with the property owner, Woodway 567 LLC, to initiate the voluntary annexation of the property, the creation of a municipal management district or MMD, and the review of a plan unit development concept plan for the Westlake Village Master Plan Community, which is on your screen right there. Approval of this annexation will concurrently establish the land use designation of mixed use flex. Mixed use flex, and zoning of PUD plan unit development for the subject property in accordance with the approved suburban residential. That's why I didn't sound right. So I'm sorry, take that back. Land use designation of suburban residential and zoning of PUD for the subject property in accordance with the approved development agreement and conceptual PUD plan. So within the development plan, it envisions high quality master plan community consisting of approximately 1,223 single family lots and 20 townhomes, 12 acres of multi-family residential, 15 acres of commercial development, and approximately 36 acres of open space. Of the total 567 acres, roughly 243 acres lie within the Lake Waco 503 flowage easement and will not be developed. So this will secure that property from being developed inside that area. The majority of the residential lots meet the R1 zoning district of 50-foot wide lots, approximately 90%, with the remainder of those lots consisting of 60-foot wide lots, which actually exceeds our lot size requirement for the R1 district. The design emphasizes connectivity and neighborhood quality through enhanced development standards, including multiple pocket parks, interconnected sidewalks and trails, a pond feature, and a centrally located amenity center. Additional enhancements include upgraded masonry requirements, enhanced landscaping, and improved boundary fencing and screening, ensuring a cohesive and attractive neighborhood character. The proposed development pattern for this annexation tract will complement the changes that are happening along there. But the key thing to this, the MMD or Municipal Management District and Development Agreement that Council approved on October 7th, is what's going to bring the infrastructure to this area from the city of Waco. So I'm sorry I went through a lot, but I thought it was important for the members of the audience to hear more of a description on this one for what will be taking place on this property after annexation.
Thank you.
Oh, we did mail out 21 notices. I don't believe we had any returned on this one.
Okay. Is the applicant or their representative here to speak on behalf of this item?
Yeah, we're here and happy to answer any questions that you may have about the annexation project.
Is there anyone that would like to speak in opposition to this item?
What about the gravel trucks going up and down Tom Ledbetter Lane out of the gravel pit? They're going right by this property. What kind of road is the city going to have put in to maintain that? Because if you look at Spiegelville Road down towards Highway 84, y'all went in and researched it about 2 years ago. Did a very poor job. That's already rutted out by the gravel trucks. And we're also seeing that happen on Spiegelville Road that was brought by the county up to State Farm Market Road specifications. So my question is, what's going to be done with the road?
Okay. Hold on. Going forward, if we'll make comments, please come to the podium to make the comments, but thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to speak in opposition to this item? Yes, sir.
Questions. My name is Ron Jimenez and I live on Ledbetter Road. And the gravel issue is a big question. A couple years ago, we had the quality environmental air environment. Yeah, they came out. So the question, I contacted the gentleman and go, hey, we've got an issue. We got silicon dust flying everywhere. And as you know, silicon is not good for human lungs. So they tried half-heartedly or trying to keep the road paved, but you still got dust going everywhere. So it's a big concern, of what we're trying to keep from happening is, is first, number one, our health is number one. And then you're bringing, another element out there is, what's gonna happen in the gravel pit? Are they gonna continue to run? Or are these families gonna be exposed to the same thing that we are? I've got little ones, and I've got to be concerned about them, the county's not. So, I need somebody in our corner that says, hey, we expect better from the county and future and trying to annex the city. So that's a big concern of mine.
Thank you.
Brad Liskian, 432 Dosher Lane. Again, a big project, I guess the traffic plan, I mean, you got to annex first. I understand the order process for this, but you're putting in well over 1,000 homes, times it by 2 for cars, 2,000 cars, single lane roads going every direction out of there and in there. What's the traffic plan for upgrading for ingress and ingress? We got emergency vehicles, heaven forbid there's, ambulances or anything else coming in and out of this area. Access onto the freeway, the highway there, Highway 6 going either direction. Just looking at that community, I'm just looking at going, it looks amazing. I'm not going to hate a nice community when built, but the reality of getting in and out of it is a key, not just for the people buying in there, but for the existing residents. I live in the area, so I do travel around on those roads, and I can only imagine, what's going to be like is it just going to be so jammed that, it's just another nightmare kind of getting up into Hewitt when, it's just so much density that you be 10 cars deep at a stop sign, just trying to get where you're going. With a little more planning, a couple extra lanes, the foresight that's there, that'd be wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Anyone else that would like to speak in opposition to this item?
I ask one more question, please.
Yes, sir.
The annexation, can you throw the picture back on the screen? Does the annexation include Tom Ledbetter Road or up to Tom Ledbetter Road? So my question is, who is responsible for Tom Ledbetter Road? That's a county piece of property right now. The county is supposed to be maintained, but who can you?
My understanding is that the annexation includes Tom Ledbetter Road. The gravel pit that's being referred to is not in the annexation area, but
Right.
the Tom Ledbetter Road would be in there, and there will be improvements, obviously, that'll have to be made to Tom Ledbetter Road with the development of this
Improvements
property.
brought up to what standard?
City standards.
City standard can't take those gravel trucks that are gonna be running out of that gravel pit. I mean, you gotta look at the whole picture, guys. I mean, that's kind of what I'm looking at. Because if you just make it a regular city street, take Texas Central Parkway, it's a prime example of not doing it properly. Now they gotta go back in and make some corrections to it. I'm just saying you need to address the road infrastructure.
Thank you.
I'm not opposed to the, I just have a couple questions. Is the open space going to be open to the public?
So, the applicant will have a chance to answer these questions once we get done with the opposition comments. Okay, hearing no more opposition, the applicant would like to respond to as many of the questions as can. That'd be great.
Good evening, Thomas Fletcher with Kinley Horn, 6161 Upway, Frisco, Texas. Appreciate the opportunity to be here tonight for the annexation hearing. Within the development agreement, there's outlines of how Tom Ledbetter will be addressed. It will be addressed. So one of the things that we want to make sure we do is we want to make the road suitable during construction. So there is phased improvements as the development occurs that will include overlays, dust control. And then once the development is completed, the city would come back in as part of our overall development agreement and reconstruct the full length of Tom Ledbetter Road from the southwestern or the western boundary over to Highway 6. So that's in the development agreement, and it's outlined very specifically what occurs during each phase. When we looked at this with the city, and we'll have to do a traffic impact analysis to determine the section of the roadway and what's appropriate for the traffic and the type of traffic out there, including the trucks. But we are dedicating enough right of way to provide for either, I believe it is a collector section or a minor arterial. It's roughly, I believe, 100 feet of total right of way, so that the roadway through the TIA can be determined whether or not it's going to be 3 lanes, 4 lanes, but the intent would be that this would not be a 2-lane roadway. So the roadway is going to get improved with the development or through the process of the development. We also, within the development, because of the number of residential lots, we have internal collectors for the development. In traffic, normally a residential street can accommodate about 1,100 vehicle trips per day. A collector, because there's no houses with drive connections, can accommodate about 10 to 12,000 vehicle trips per day. So there is a spine road that will run through the development, will be constructed phased. You can see there's 4 distinct phases of the residential development, and that road gets built with those phases. So that will provide additional access to Highway 6 for the residents in this area. In addition to the improvements to Tom Ledbetter and the collector, there's also screening buffers to buffer the residents from those roadways that we will be working with the city to construct as part of the overall development. There's about 250 acres of residential development. There's 243 acres below the 503. There's an agreement that at some point in the future that gets dedicated to the city for public use, public park. Within each phase of the development, there's a neighborhood pocket park that's also going to be open and available to the public. In each of those pocket parks has to have a different theme. So we want to make sure it's not 4 playgrounds, right? We want to provide different themes. And there was also a presentation, I think it should be available from the October 7th City Council for anyone in the audience that maybe hasn't seen that. That has more information on the pocket parks, some of the design items that would be in there. Generally in a development like this, really the only thing that would be private to the residents would be the amenity center, the swimming pool, those amenities and features of the development. But the trail system, that would all be public. The collector road will have a trail running along it, meandering. We've widened that right-of-way area to provide additional width so that we can have public trails. One of the goals of this development is community connectivity and just creating all these open spaces that can be connected to really create a walkable community for the residents of this development. And again, the annexation also, it brings this development that was in the ETJ into the city, which provided additional controls. And within the development agreement, there's actually items that we've agreed to that are above and beyond the City of Waco standard requirements. Happy to answer. Hopefully I addressed most of the questions.
I think you had one question about, are the pocket parks generally accessible to those that don't live in the neighborhood?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, there's going to be parking within the neighborhood. So if someone were to come in, they could park, they could utilize the neighborhood pocket parks, they could utilize the trail system. When the city, I think the long-term plan is that the city would do something with the land that gets dedicated to them, and then that would also be open to the public as well. So really, the only thing that would not be accessible to the general public would really be the amenity center in the pool area. The residents would have a key card that would be, it'd be gated off, and they would utilize that for access and use.
Great. Any
question? I have a question for average price of the homes. What are y'all, and have y'all done anything comparable to this anywhere else?
Yeah, if you go and look at the presentation on October 7th, we shared about 4 different projects that we've done as a development group. We're out of the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and we showed several projects that we've done recently that are larger master plans. So this is what we typically do. We work on these larger acreage tracts. We do master plan communities. We incorporate the community, the amenities. We provide neighborhood services with the commercial. We provide generally a multifamily tract as well, so that there's different price level options for renters. And then hopefully, a lot of times what you like is you want to see people be able to move up. So maybe you come out there and you're renting in the multifamily in the apartment, and then as you can afford, you would then maybe move and buy a house in the community. But
What's an average price of the home that we're gonna out there?
we don't have the average price yet, so it's gonna depend on the builder, it's gonna depend on construction costs. We've done, as part of the MMD and some of the studies, we've done market studies for what market rates are. But really, the house price generally isn't going to be set until you have a better idea of what the construction cost. Construction timeframe to build a phase of residential is generally about 18 months once you break ground. Going through the city process generally takes 10 to 12 months to do the design of all the infrastructure, the design of the roads, the platting through the city. And then once you break ground and you finish and get final acceptance, usually it takes about 4 to 6 months for the houses to be built. So really, I think realistically on a development like this, you're probably not going to see any residents out there for probably about 3 years, maybe a little quicker than that, but generally I would say it's around the 3-year time frame.
Have y'all done any looking into the quality of air that's coming off the plant on that?
We have not done any air tests. We have done environmental reports. We do all of that as part of our due diligence. And as we work with the city, when we talk about Ledbetter and what's going to be done there, dust control, things of that nature, we've talked through that with the city, and there are very specific things that are within that development agreement between the developer and the city that's going to occur. But when the project's done, the complete Tom Ledbetter across the frontage will get built to a city standard. And if the so normally you go through and do a pavement design based on the number of trucks. Because this area has a higher number of trucks, that could affect the design. So if your normal pavement is 8-inch thick, this may be 10-inch thick or whatever, that's part of the design process that you would go through to determine the road section. Absolutely.
I have another question.
Yeah.
I just have one quick question. What was the average lot size? I heard like a 50-foot width was typical, but.
Yeah, the typical lot's 50 foot by 115 to 120. Usually on the perimeter, some of them are deeper or larger, and then there's also 60-foot wide lots as well.
Pardon, I'm not opposed to it. I just got questions.
Yeah.
The 12-inch line that already goes across Lake Waco, that won't anywhere near furnish all this, would it?
Are you talking about water? So right now there's a 20-inch line that goes across Waco. That's going to be upsized to a 24. It's going to extend along the frontage. We're going to bring it over into our site. It will be a combination of 24, 20, 16. Within the city's infrastructure, there is a section of line that's an 8-inch, and there is there's participation between the development and the city, but it would be a city project to take that 8-inch and upsize it to a 24, and that's all spelled out within the development agreement. So right now, without upsizing that line, you're limited in the amount of development. So within the development agreement, it says when that has to be upsized in order for additional development to come on. And then for sewer, all the sewer is going to gravity to the southwest corner of the track. Then there would be a lift station in Forest Main that would take it and tie into the city's got another project as part of their CIP and some other development agreements that's going to, I believe it's called the Spiegelville gravity line, but our projects would go and tie into that other city project. And
So
I think it has
a whole new sewer system.
whole new sewer system. And because this is a larger basin, there is participation and agreement to treat this as like a regional facility. So we're not looking at it and saying, okay, we're going to serve us. We're looking at it and saying, okay, there's a large area that comes here. We need to plan for that so that the city has the ability to serve as future development occurs.
Okay, history.
Okay, Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Any questions for the applicant? No. Okay. We will close the public hearing and entertain a motion.
Move to recommend approval based on staff findings. Second.
Motion by Mr. Smith, second by Mr. Allen, please pull the question.
Allen?
Yeah.
Ellis?
Yes.
Henry?
Yes.
Gibbons?
Yes.
Ingram?
Yes.
Sonic?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Salome?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Cole?
Yes. Next item is ANX 25-3, Board of City Staff's recommendation.
Mr. Chair, members of the commission, this is a request for the voluntary annexing of territory comprised of 2 tracts of land containing approximately 212.37 total acres, more or less, designating the comprehensive plan land use designation for the said territory as suburban residential, and designating R1B zoning for the said territory, and extending the boundary limits of said city to include the territory described as being approximately 212.47 acres of land out of the Thomas H. Barron Survey, abstract number 126, McLennan County, Texas, and being all of a 57.029 acre tract of land described as tract 1 by a deed to Spiegelville Land Holdings LLC, a Texas Limited Liability Company, recorded in document number 20230020033, official public records of McLennan County, Texas, and being all of a remainder of 120.615 acre tract of land described by deed to said owner, recorded in document number 20210489111, official public records in McLennan County, Texas, and being all of a 104.27 acre tract of land as described by deed to Edgewood Land Investments LLC, a Texas Limited Liability Company, recorded in document number 202402805, official public records in McLennan County, Texas, and being part of a called 177.466 acre tract of land described by deed to 7D Investments LP, recorded in document number 20210504010, official public records, McLennan County, Texas, that portion being part of Spiegelville Road. Said territory is located approximately 743 feet north of the intersection of Maple Shade Drive and Spiegelville Road and within Waco's extraterritorial jurisdiction. As shown on the map, this property is close to the last one that we just discussed. This is 212.37 total acres. Comprehensive plan land use designation is suburban residential and designating straight R1B zoning as the zoning district. This property also had a development agreement entered into it February 20th, 2024 by the city council with the property owners to provide for the extension of city's water and wastewater systems to the vicinity of the subject property. The agreement does outline the process to initiate the voluntary annexation of the property, which is why we're here tonight. As outlined in the agreement, the developer will provide the following within this development: a public park, one public park of at least 6 acres in size with amenities typical of a neighborhood park, such as swing, slides, playgrounds, as required by the city's Parks and Recreation Department. Pedestrian connectivity, including adequate pedestrian connections, such as sidewalks or walking trails, linking residential areas to the public park. Sidewalks of at least 4 feet in width shall be constructed on both sides of every public street within the development. Residential lots, a minimum of 700 residential lots shall be developed with the following standards. No lot shall be less than 50 feet in width. No more than 50% of lots shall have a width of 50 feet, and at least 50% of the lots will have a width of greater than 50 feet. We mailed out 63 notices. We did have 1 returned opposed and 2 returned with questions. One of the questions asked was regarding stormwater and floodplain. Again, as we discussed in previous applications, once the property is located within the city of Waco stormwater prevention standards shall apply, as well as any floodplain standards, building standards. All city standards will apply for this property. And that is addressed during the time of review of the development and that construction drawings through our infrastructure services department. Planning services does recommend approval as outlined.
Thank you. Is the applicant or their representative here to speak on behalf of this item?
I'm here, and after the last gentleman answered all those questions, a lot of them are apply here too, so happy to answer any questions particular to this case, and Yeah, you did a great job.
Okay.
Can you put the picture back up that show, we didn't get the lots and everything, what y'all said out there, so just put it back up so we can kind of look at it, kind of like to see what's going on.
Mr. Chair, this was a approved preliminary plat from, I believe, 2024.
You only have one spot. There's multiple other roads around the property.
Sir, for the applicant, we'll hold on to answering questions. We'll let anyone that would like to. Yeah, just hold off on answering questions. Yeah, if you don't mind coming up and asking your questions here so we can get you on record, and then he'll have a chance to come answer everyone's questions collectively. Sorry.
I live across the street from what planted. And I'm wondering about Ingress and Ingress, are you planning on using that road up there at Meadow?
Enter now or?
No, sorry, you can just say your question and he'll answer them all collectively, but then also when
Because
we get
that
here.
private road, he owns it. He ain't let you use it, so I'm with him there.
Our speaker identify himself.
Sir, what was your name?
Bill Killian.
Thank you.
Question.
Ma'am, you'll, that's okay. You'll come up to the front, sorry.
It's Joni again. I just wanted to know how much of that was gonna be the open space. I don't really see it outlined.
Thank you.
Do these developments have to have retention ponds? Or is only required with commercial property?
City staff.
Stormwater has to be addressed with subdivision platting through our infrastructure services department, including drainage review and stormwater.
Just east of this is a little draw that runs through there, and I've seen it over Spiegelville Road. I've been out there 43 years, so I've seen it over Spiegelville Road. So I'm just curious, and I'd imagine, I'm sorry that you approved something with only one ingress and egress off on the Spiegelville Road.
Yeah, thank you.
We're not approving the plat tonight, right?
This is a preliminary plat that was approved in 2024, and there are multiple planned accesses on it. Construction drawings are not submitted as of yet. Because that's done before the final plat, which is not submitted yet.
If there are no more questions, we'll allow the applicant to make a short rebuttal. You can just state your name and address for the record.
Thanks for having me, John Welch, and I live at 501 Eagle Heights in Salado, Texas. As stated, this was the preliminary plat that we had submitted and gone through with some comments. As far as access, I know Windsor Way is another public road that's up on the north side of the property we're tying into. We're tying in, I think it's Barrett Road that's there on the east side of the property where the collector will come through and tie in eventually. So I think there's a total of, once the whole property is developed, I think there's a total of 4 different ways in and out, if I remember right. And then as far as drainage, we've done some, we're currently started working on plans, been waiting on some of the city's projects with water and some of those items, part of our development agreement, we're building some of it to get all that going. So now that all that's kind of moving, we're going to get started working on this finally. So as far as drainage, you can kind of see where some of the open spaces are on the eastern boundary, the eastern side of the property. That's going to be where all the drainage, detention ponds, those type of things will go. I know the city just did a drainage project just on the other side of Spiegelville Road, not far from us right here, to help try to, I know there's been some drainage issues in the area. And hopefully that drainage project and some of the stuff the city's done is going to help alleviate some of that. I'm always very concerned about drainage because one thing that I know always gets people fired up, and we're very conscious about it, and we will be very conscious about it. The designated park space that I know we've got in there currently right now is the area where you can kind of see between where the floodplain is and where that crossing is going to be, and then between where the lots are. And I don't remember the exact acres of it, but you've got some there. And then in that southeast corner, we'll have some. And we'll probably find some areas to put some pocket parks, 1 or 2 pocket parks in the neighborhood and some places too, so. Well, with being said, happy to answer any other questions I may have.
Yes, sir.
Where you at? And Barrett Road runs into the south and middle Boston River. You take it the other direction, you go to McClellan Crossing. McClellan Crossing can't handle, that's a little, it's not even hardly this wide. Please explain to me how this got approved with 1 ingress and egress. Man, I might ask, has anybody been out to look where this is? When I was on the zoning commission in Carrollton, Texas, we went and looked before we had our meetings to see what all was going on. That's been a while back, but has anybody been out to look at this? I like your fine with the deal, but you can't dump all that, well, you're gonna dump all that traffic on Spiegelville Road, just north of the elementary school.
And I can just say that part of the development agreement that we've got to do a TIA. And we're gonna be studying that intersection where our roads, that main road's gonna come out to Spiegelville Road. And I'm sure there's gonna be some improvements with turn lanes and some other additional things we'll have to do up there to accommodate that traffic coming out.
Thank you.
Laura, and just for clarification, because the request only says for the annexation.
Correct.
So are we even considering the preliminary plat?
No. The item on the agenda tonight is only for the consideration of the annexation. The preliminary plat goes through our administrative review of plats. And I wasn't too directly hands-on with the plat when it went through in 2024, so I don't recall what comments the fire department said, but I believe it was left with approved. No, I believe it may have been approved with conditions. I have to double check, but that's not the item for consideration tonight. That's a separate process.
So these concerns brought up, are those even germane to annexation?
We did send it out for our typical reviewers. We did receive no comments. Literally a statement that says no comments on this from our fire department, fire marshal. And again, to note, once this is in the city, this falls under City of Waco, fire marshal, or fire review versus the county, so. And access is a requirement.
Thank you. Okay, no further comments. We'll close the public hearing and entertain a motion.
Move that we approve based on staff findings.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Smith, second by Mr. Embry. Please poll the commission.
Allen,
Yay.
Ellis,
Yes.
Embry,
Yes.
Givens,
Yes.
Ingram,
Yes.
Lozano,
Yes.
Rodriguez,
Yes.
Salome,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Cole,
Yes. Moving on to subdivisions. The preliminary plat for lot 3, block 1, Bella Edition. What is city staff's recommendation?
Mr. Chair, members of the commission, the first item for plat review is a 2-part request. It's the preliminary plat for lot 3, block 1, Blue Edition, located in the ETJ. Also associated request for variance to the requirement for extending the City of Waco sewer line for the proposed subdivision plat entitled preliminary plat for lot 3, block 1, Blue Edition. The variance request is, to be more specific, section 5.201B1, which states within Waco's ETJ, sanitary sewer line shall be immediately installed and connected to a public sewer line at the expense of the subdivider of the property if the lot is within 500 feet of a public sewer line. In this case, there is sewer line inconveniently located, but it is within the 500 feet. It is on the opposite side of Highway 84. City staff, including planning staff and infrastructure services department, does not recommend approval of a variance to allow the use of on-site septic systems for non-residential uses in lieu of extending the public sanitary sewer system. Staff may, however, support a variance for a single family residential use on this property. Existing sanitary sewer infrastructure is located directly across the highway, approximately 200 feet from the subject property. And also another location approximately 2,400 feet east of the property adjacent to Valverde Road. given the proximity of the existing sanitary sewer facilities and the need to provide adequate infrastructure to support the orderly development of the high-growth Highway 84 corridor, staff recommends that the requested subdivision variance from the requirement to connect to a public sanitary sewer line be limited solely to single-family residential use. Therefore, we would recommend approval of that subdivision variance only with that as a condition, as I outlined in the staff report. And then as far as the preliminary plat, again, it would be approval with conditions as noted in the October 22nd, 2025 letter, which also notes the variance.
Thank you. The applicant or their representative here to speak on behalf of this item. Is there anyone that would like to speak in opposition to this item? Okay, hearing none, we'll close the public hearing and entertain a motion.
We take these in two parts.
I do it in two, yes. Sir.
Okay, so we'll do the variance first. That's okay. So for the variance, I move to recommend approval with conditions as outlined by staff.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Smith, second by Ms. Salome. Please poll the commission.
Allen,
Yeah.
Ellis.
Yes.
Embry,
Yes.
Givens,
Yes.
Ingram,
Yes.
Lozano.
Yes.
Rodriguez,
Yes.
Salome,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Cole,
Yes. And now we will entertain a motion on the preliminary plat.
Move that we approve with conditions based on staff finding.
Motion by Mr. Smith, second by Mr. Lozano. Please poll the commission.
Allen.
Yeah.
Ellis.
Yes.
Embry.
Yes.
Givens.
Yes.
Ingram,
Yes.
Lozano,
Yes.
Rodriguez,
Yes.
Salome,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Cole.
Yes. Okay, to item 10 on the agenda, final plat for lot 6, block 1 of the Waco Gateway Edition. Want to see staff?
Chairman, members of the commission, this is the request for final plat of lot 6, block 1, like, blah, I can't speak. Waco Gateway Edition, located within the city of Waco. Planning Services recommends approval with conditions of the final plat as subject to the conditions outlined in October 24, 2025 letter.
Thank you. The applicant or their representative here to speak on behalf of this item. Anyone here that would like to speak in opposition to this item? Okay, hearing none, we'll close the public hearing and entertain a motion.
We approve with conditions based on staff findings.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Smith, second by Ms. Gibbons. Please poll the commission.
Allen,
Yay.
Ellis.
Yes.
Embry.
Yes.
Givens.
Yes.
Ingram,
Yes.
Lozano,
Yes.
Rodriguez,
Yes.
Salome,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Cole.
Yes. Final item, can we entertain a motion for election of chair and vice chair?
Move that Jed Cole serve as chair, and Nathan Embry serve as vice chair. Second.
Motion by Mr. Smith, second by Mr. Allen. Please poll the commission.
Allen,
Yay.
Ellis.
Yes.
Embry.
Yes.
Givens.
Yes.
Ingram.
Yes.
Lozano.
Yes.
Rodriguez,
Yes.
Salome,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Cole.
Yes. And we are adjourned at 9:15.